What up, what up, what up? It's that time again. Time for another Day Talk with your friend here, Julian the Voice, right? And Trust the Plus, with a word and life come together to make sense. Apologize for the voice. Dealing with a little bit of sickness, so, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. It's gonna go well, God's guiding it, But I apologize for the voice nonetheless. And so our verse of the day is going to be John 3:21, right? And it says, "But whoever lives by the truth comes into the light, so that it may be seen plainly that what they have done has been done in the sight of God." And so when you take that and you simplify it, all it entails is that people who really live this thing out, right, will want to live in that truth, in reality, right? There's a word we love to turn around and say, and that's "I keep it real," right? Everybody loves saying that. I keep it real. I'm a real person. I'm a real dude. I'm a real, fill in the blank, right? But how many people actually can do that, right? When it comes down to how many people can actually live with the truth, right? The truth of themselves, the truth of where they came from, be able to be open and honest about that, right? Be able to understand how their walk was, how they changed, how they transformed, right? Deal with confrontations of things of themselves that they need to get rid of, right? So everybody claims to be able to do that, but very few will do it, right? But the truth will show in the deeds, right? And the honesty, right? And how we walked, right? When we turned around and had to be honest about certain things. When we turned around and had to turn around and change the nature of things. When we had to call out certain things that we saw that wasn't right, right? Like, how many people will actually do that? And you'll be surprised that number decreases drastically less when action is involved, right? So again, truth, right? Living by the truth means faithful to God's revelation. Right? So, in this beginning point of time, some of you have probably already felt it, right? There's a lot of revelation happening here, right? God's revealed to you, if not before, then in this moment, or even later, right? That there's some things that need to change, right? And you have to be able to be opposed to those falsehoods and those appearances. Be willing to lose the masks, right? It also means light. So you need to be able to become the light, right? Willingly exposing oneself to the truth, right? And being true to what God revealed, right? So there's some things that about ourselves that's going to get revealed that we got to be willing to get rid of, right? There's some things about other people that we got to be willing not to turn around and accept into our lives, right? And that's hard, right? A lot of people want to turn around and try and drag stuff as long as they can, right? We don't like getting rid of stuff, right? But that's what it means to walk in that truth, right? Deeds, right? Deeds are made manifest and brought to light to be tested and judged as right or wrong, right? Intent, where's our heart at, right? We talked about this before, right? So, we could say a lot of this, right? And we see a lot of people do a lot of this, right? There's a lot of talk, right? But when it comes down to it, God understands one thing, and that's action, right? What is truly inside of you is going to live out physically. It's going to come out physically. Right? And so if you walk in the light, if you believe in the light, if you believe in the truth, if you walk in the reality of the truth, right, your actions will show that, right? You'll be able to call out things. You'll realize there's stuff that you don't need to do anymore, that you no longer need it, right? And it won't be such a big hassle to get rid of it, right? The Forge is a good movie and a good example of that, right? It's, it's gonna hurt, right? But at the same time, you're gonna realize I ain't need it, right? And so God, right, deeds are done through God by his assistance and gracious influence, right? And so we'll lean on the Spirit a lot more, right? This is not something that can be done and accomplished by just yourself, right? But when you walk in truth and you walk in the light, the Holy Spirit takes precedence. You listen to that conscience, that voice, right? That tells you, that helps you differentiate, that serves as a guide, right? We all have that voice, but not all of us are listening to it. And so there's a word that I saw on here as I was looking at this, the word of the day, right? And it's phaneru, right? Phaneru is a Greek word, and it's translated as seen clearly. And that's what is used here in John 3:21, right? And so it's indicating actions of those who practice the truth for evidence to others, right? It's seen. It's not something I got to turn around and brag about. It's not something I got to turn around and make a scene about or anything like that, right? I don't need acknowledgement for it. It's just people can obviously turn around and see it, right? I get told all the time I'm an unnecessarily honest person. That's not my words. That's somebody else's words to me, right? And it's not because I went out there personally going on my way and all this other stuff like that, right? It's just seen. It's seen sometimes before somebody even has a conversation with me, right? I have a tendency to turn around and be sitting down minding my whole business, right? I could be eating a whole sandwich, stuff in my face, everything all over my face, and all of a sudden somebody randomly sits with me and starts telling me their life story. I didn't ask. I didn't ask, right? But they felt they can trust me. All right, and that leads to the conversation, and that leads to them having more understanding and clarity on who to seek the answers from. And it's not me, it's God, right? But that's because I purposely live myself trying to walk in the truth, right? Trying to walk in the light. That God turn around and asks. I don't want to be a hypocrite, right? I want to, especially because I think about my kids, right? And one of the things that used to annoy me with a lot of older people, right, is they would tell you to do stuff and then they turn around and do the opposite of what they told you to do. I don't want to do that. I want my kids to see that, right? I want my kids to know that whatever I hold them to, they can hold me to the same standard. If I don't follow that same standard, they have every right to call me out on it. I will not whoop them. I ain't going to curse them out. We ain't going to have the whole, hey, who you think you are? Remember, I'm older than you and all this stuff type talk. It's none of that, right? Because at the end of the day, what matters is what God says, right? And so that's the same standard I hold them to. So if I'm not being an example of that, I need to be called out because I'm not being the guy that I'm supposed to be, right? I'm not following the way that we're supposed to turn around and move, right? And I wouldn't want my kids to watch me go backwards, same way I don't watch them go backwards, right? And so, you know, this it's a hard thing to do, but it's worth it. And so John emphasizes on that, right? That it'll be shown and it'll be clear. And so do it with purpose, right? Walk in light with purpose. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't worry about whatever gets removed. Just understand if it's pleasing in God's eyes, right? You are on the right track. Because at the end of the day, that's who matters most above everything else. And so that's all I got for you. And I'll catch you on the next one. And remember, no mess, no fuss. Always trust the plus. Peace out.